Last time on the Just Create SMP, I opened this prismarine shop that's got a guardian for a shopkeeper that shoots you. It also sells fish and squid ink and even bone blocks. And I'd love to say that since I recorded the last video, I've made loads of diamonds, but I've still not made any because I literally just stopped recording the last video about half an hour ago. So no one's been on to buy anything yet. And because I spent so much time in the last video setting up this prismarine construction facility, as well as all of the logistics, getting the items on my boat and over to the shopping area, I never actually got round to doing what I said I was going to do, which is to turn this big old circle I'm standing on, this giant circle, into an amazing tree farm that will hopefully be generating us all of the different types of woods. How are we going to do this, you might ask? Well, I'm going to need a whole bunch of deployers, I'm going to need some schematics, and I'm going to probably need a windmill similar to this one. But before we actually start building the farm, I need to figure out how we're going to lay it out. Because we've got the 6 original types of Minecraft wood, as well as the 3 relatively new types of Minecraft wood, plus bamboo, and I'd also like this system to actually harvest leaves for us as well. But because azalea leaves grow on oak logs, and because oak leaves are exactly the same as dark oak leaves, we don't actually need to grow oak trees. We could just grow azalea trees, get the leaves from them, and then but then we can't replant them. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. I think. I'll have to figure that out. But anyway, that should leave us with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different types of tree that we're going to be harvesting. And that means I need to divide this huge circle up into 10 segments, for which I'd rather have 8, because that would be significantly easier. Oh, jeez. In order to do that, though, I'm going to take a download of this world and start doing some preparations on a creative copy of it, so I can get this all sorted without making huge changes to this area, because this area is just so huge. If I start making mistakes, they're gonna be big mistakes, and I don't want to be recording this video for the next 3 weeks. So over here on a creative copy of the world, the first test I want to do is to see if azalea bushes will actually grow without bone meal. And the easiest way to find that out is to plant some and turn random tick speed on and then realize that no, they won't. But if I bone meal them, they will. So the only way I could get oak logs and azalea leaves is if we added bone meal into the system, which is not impossible, but probably quite tricky. And it's not impossible because my guardian farm produces bone meal. So we could easily route some of that to the azalea tree bits and then just have those automatically grow, which would probably give us quite a lot of oak and azalea leaves. And that sounds good to me. The next test I want to do isn't really a test, it's more of how I'm going to divide a circle up into 10 segments. So let's grab a block that I can easily see and let's draw some lines on this bit here. Now obviously in the real world we're not going to be using this little circle that's at the top of this thing, we're going to be using that big one, but this will give us exactly the same sort of segmenty bits that we're looking for. And I need to basically work out 36-degree angles in Minecraft. And because I can't find a tool online to do that for me, I'm going to have to try and figure it out myself, which is going to be tricky. Perhaps it would be easier to go around this part of the circle and then make lines towards the center of it, counting the number of blocks. But then I need to know how many blocks they are, and it would be a lot easier if this circle was smaller. Let's make this 10 long on each side. And then let's make a circle. And there we go. We got a circle that's 21 blocks in diameter, which should make counting segments much easier. So each side we need 5 segments, and there are 27 blocks on each side, which means each segment needs to be 5.4 blocks wide, which isn't really going to work. And that doesn't take into account the fact that each line is going to be a block's width. So if we're having 5 segments, that's going to be 4 lines. So 27 minus 4 is 23 divided by 5. So each segment needs to be 4.6 blocks wide. Great. So we'll do 5 and see what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 segments in there. So if we extend those lines all the way to the edge, that's going to give us a perfect 10 thingy segment for the entire thing. But it would also be nice if everything was a bit more symmetrical. Well, this looks a bit weird, doesn't it? Well, this circle that I've made behind me now has 12 segments, and it doesn't really matter if we've got extra segments because I'm sure we can use those for something. And that's a lot more of a nice pattern and certainly easier to make all the way across there than the other one. But if we're doing 12, we don't need it all to be off by a block. This circle also has 12 segments, and this one's going to be substantially easier to get the blocks all the way to the edges because, well, 4 of them are straight lines. So now I've extended the circle onto the edges of our small little disc in the middle, which is not where we're going to be having it when we actually have it out there. And I've also added on some grass blocks and the different saplings for each type. But how's this going to work? How are we going to plant the saplings and harvest the trees and the leaves? Well, that's quite simple. We're going to use a windmill. So basically here in the center of the circle, we'd have a windmill bearing, then a few bits of wool. We don't want many because we don't want this thing going too fast. Then we would extend our little beam all the way to the edge of the circle. Realize I've done it 1 block too low down for the deployers. And then we would add a whole bunch of deployers facing down towards the grass blocks, a couple of blocks up, that are going to be placing our saplings for us. And normally what you do is then put the filters on for the saplings you want to be placed on each of the deployers, so as they go past the grass blocks, providing they've got saplings in their little storage system, which I haven't put on this, they would then place the saplings onto the grass blocks as they go past. The problem with that, however, is we need multiple different types of saplings. We don't want this coming past here, finding an empty spot in the spruce section and then planting spruce, and likewise planting spruce in the birch and so on and so forth all the way round. We want it to plant the exact right saplings in the exact right spaces, and that's where the schematics come into play. You see, if I take a schematic of this entire area, just having the saplings in it, and save that, something like sapling circle test, and then I just save and upload that immediately so I get the schematic, I then just need to place that schematic where it needs to go, which is there. And then instead of putting the saplings in the deployers, I just put the schematic in them all. And now if I give this windmill some storage and throw all of the different types of saplings and stuff we want inside of it, and of course let's not forget to glue it all together. Oh, and let's not forget to put the saws on there that are actually going to be cutting these trees down. And then when I set this thing going, if there are saplings missing, it's only going to replace the ones that are supposed to go there. So these are all going to be jungle ones. There we go. These will all be acacia ones. Come on, little machine. There we go. And henceforth, we have a tree farm. A very, very simple, easy, lazy tree farm that doesn't require any power at all. To help me with this build, I'm going to be using a brand new tool that MrBeardstone has been recommended I use for a while, called the wand of symmetry. So I'm just about to make one. There we go. And this thing should make my life significantly easier with all the modifications and changes I've got to make to that guardian farm. And now that I've got my wand of symmetry, I've spent a little while gathering materials ready to start building this thing. And as you can see, we've got a whole bunch of prismarine, we've got all of the harvestry things that we're going to be needing, we've got a whole bunch more building blocks, and we've got my usual create boxes. And of course, we've got all of our saplings. Now, I've only got 4 propagules, I've only got 10 acacia saplings, and I've got no jungle saplings at all. So I need to go and grab some of those before we can start. But yeah, otherwise, I think we've got everything we need. And the closest jungle is that spawn. Sure there was a jungle nearby. Oh, it's the other side of... Oh, geez, it's miles away. Okay, so the closest jungle is all the way past spawn, all the way over here, over to there. Big flying, all the way up in the sky. Minimap on. Let's get up to around about 500 in the sky. And then we'll just glide all the way there. Well, I may have overcooked it. We're almost there according to the map, and I'm still 400 blocks in the sky. So I think it's time to go down and start getting some of those jungle saplings. Oh, and MrBeardstone, I saw you getting these leaves in your last episode, and you didn't even cut down the stumps. Very naughty. His last episode, it was out weeks ago. Yeah, well, I'm recording ahead because it's summer holidays, mate. I've got to go away soon. I've been working like a beaver. Beaver? Yeah, I've been working like a beaver, mate. They make Minecraft videos, do they? Yeah, there's very popular Minecraft beaver videos, yeah. And there we go. We've now got all of the saplings we need, so it's time to start building. And it turns out this wand of symmetry is incredible. I've just come back to our test world to just test out how it all works. I've got it in octagonal mode, which I thought would mean it would do 8 segments, but it doesn't. It means it'll do basically whatever you want. So if I draw a line down here, it's going to do the lines down the other sides. And then when I start doing the diagonals, look how it does all of the diagonals that I need. Every single one. So I basically only need to do 2 lines, and the wand of symmetry is going to do everything else. So back on the world, let's get this set up exactly the same. And now it's building time. Well, I've gotten started making some fancy lines in this big circle, but there are a couple of issues with that wand of symmetry, and one of them I'm not very happy with at all. The first one, which I don't mind too much, is the fact that the range stops here, so I can't actually go any further than that, but the other one seems to be a little bit more problematic. Removing the wand of symmetry for a moment, so I'm going to put down these 3 shulker boxes. I'm going to put some industrial iron in there, I'm going to put some glass in there, and some more glass in that one. I'm now going to pick them all up, put the wand of symmetry back there, and then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to place down the one that's got industrial iron in it. There we go, I've placed that down. It hasn't placed any more. Well, it has actually. It's placed my other ones there, and this one's got industrial iron in it, and this one has nothing in it now, even though I just put glass in it. So now I'm going to go and pick that up. It's going to give me all 3 back, and now the one with the industrial iron has still got industrial iron in it, but the other ones are both empty, and they were full. I had a full shulker box of sea lanterns and a full shulker box of dark prismarine, and now they're empty. So yeah, in order to actually carry enough materials with this thing, in order to place what you need to place, it's quite tricky, hence carrying these shulker boxes with me. But unfortunately, that means all the contents get deleted. So yeah, I'm going to have to be a little bit more careful when dealing with this stuff. Jeez. So yeah, without further ado, let's crack on with that time lapse. And now we've turned into a slideshow for some reason. Oh, geez. It's gone. It's gone. Okay, well, I managed to up the range to 128 using the config, which is only 28 more blocks than it was, but that did turn my PC into a slideshow a couple of minutes ago just from breaking this outer ring of blocks. I didn't even get all the way round, so clearly it doesn't like something. I just have to restart Minecraft and hope for the best. But yes, I got to this bit here. Are we still wanding? I believe so. We got loads of glass from that when I smashed it. Yep. And some of the glass is going into the ocean, but that's absolutely fine because I've got way more glass than I could ever know what to do with. And my pickaxe is dying. My pickaxe doesn't like this at all because every block that I'm breaking, I'm actually breaking 8. Here we go. We can now put this outer ring in round here. Not that I'm going to have enough blocks to do it, but I'm going to try my best. Oh, I've run out of industrial iron. Back to the workshop. Right, disable wand of symmetry so that when I break my shulker boxes, they're not all going to be empty. I can go and deposit all of this glass that I've been collecting back. Let's fix my pickaxe and grab a whole bunch more industrial iron. Then we can request another shulker box worth of sea lanterns and dark prismarine as well. And now I can put these back up here, fill my pockets, put the wand of symmetry back, and go and finish off my circle. And there we go. We've now got 12 segments, a ring round the middle and a ring round the outside, just making all of these segments individual. And yes, if I look at it straight down, you will notice that my angles are not perfect, and therefore some of the segments are bigger than the others. This one, this one, this one, and this one are far wider than the rest, but that really doesn't matter. Now what I need to figure out is where I'm going to put the dirt. See, I don't want millions of trees growing here because I'll be spending a long time AFK at the prismarine farm, so if there's millions of trees, then I'm just going to get way too much wood. So I basically need to think of a reasonable sort of layout for each one of these segments that's not going to look really weird on the rest of them. So I suppose actually it would be a good idea to put the wand of symmetry back and then start laying some in one of these angled bits and see how it looks in the rest of them. And that looks about perfect for splitting up these segments. I mean, it hasn't done anything for those ones, but for these ones, that's fine. But obviously, we're not actually splitting up these segments. I'm just trying to find out where the best place to put my saplings would be. And I'm thinking... oh, how many saplings do we want on each thing? I don't know. So doing it that way, we would get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 saplings per segment. But it kind of makes me feel like there's an awful lot of empty space in each one of these things. So maybe we should have multiple rows at different angles. This is going to take me a while, so I'll be back with you once I've sorted it. I may have made a bit of a mess of my circle, putting many rings of dirt around it in the hopes that that will help me figure out what spots to put my dirt on. And I don't know if it has, but I quite like the fact that we've got these rings around here. Not made of dirt, obviously. So I'm kind of thinking of adding a whole bunch more sea lanterns and other bits and splitting everything up a bit more, but we'll see what happens. For now, I need to figure out exactly where all of these trees are going to be going, and I want them to go on the lines. So I've got these lines running backwards and forwards to the center, which you can just about see. But then we're going to need more lines in between those running up those ones as well, so we can get lots of trees per segment. So following this line up here would mean we need the tree in one of these spots. So we're going to start with probably that one, then I guess this one, then this one, then this one, and hopefully in a nice line all the way up to the end. And that'll give us 9 trees per segment in a line. And now I just gotta find the next part of the line. Oh geez, do they even go up the middle? Kind of, sort of, a bit. Not really. Needs to sort of come more that way. Oh geez, lines are difficult. Now, there is a slightly easier way for me to figure out where the lines are supposed to go, or where the blocks are supposed to go, and that is basically to come all the way to the edge, find the center of where my last one was and the next one is, which will be over here. So the center between those is going to be roughly around about this point here-ish. And if I break that block, you'll see I get a line. When I place this one, oh, it doesn't reach this far. Well, basically, yeah, I get a line when I get close enough that comes all the way back. Some nice particles. There we go. And I just have to follow that line. And providing I follow that line pretty much smack on, that should take me towards the center, and therefore the blocks that I'm placing should be in a nice diagonal line. There we go. So now if I look up and have a look, yeah, there we go. We got a lovely little line going on there. So I just need to do the same along that bit now. Well, that was easier. The stupid thing is, though, all of the places I'm putting sea lanterns are where I want the dirt, and all of the dirt is probably where I'd like to have sea lanterns. But not to worry. We'll figure it out. That looks better. We've got 3 lovely rows, kind of, sort of, a bit the same distance apart from each side. And that gives us 27 trees per segment. And currently, we've added them into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 segments. So we need to now do the other ones, which are a completely different shape. But the good thing about these extra wide segments is the fact that they're going to be on a perfect diagonal. So all I got to do is find the very center, which is basically this line of blocks here. MrBeardstone!
Hello.
I hear you're having a crashing time, sir.
I did just crash. Yeah, my client doesn't usually crash, and neither does the server.
I think it may be the wand of symmetry.
Oh.
Yeah.
You reckon?
Yeah. Well, I've got it on octagonal to help me make this circle. And I'm having quite a few issues with it. If I go and start working too far away, and my frames just die and my PC pretty much melts.
It's looking very nice, though.
Yeah. Can you tell what this bit's going to be, MrBeardstone?
A very nice pattern.
It's not a pattern, MrBeardstone. The dirt might give it away.
Okay, I'll go into free cam and have a look, but I won't be able to hear you. One sec.
Okay.
A big pattern.
Yeah. No, it's a tree farm, MrBeardstone.
Oh, a tree.
Yeah.
This is going to be a humongous tree farm, Foxy.
Yes. But there's only going to be 27 trees per type of tree, but it will do every type of tree.
Oh, okay. So you're not planting trees on all the dirt?
No. Just these singular patches. So I've turned the big circle into 12 sections. I need 11 for all of the different tree types and bamboo and whatnot. Basically, very similar to the Guardian Farm. Big windmill with some deployers and saws on it. Goes round and round and round, planting and chopping down trees.
Nice. Just as Throwlash opens his tree shop.
Yeah. There is a tree. If you just, I don't know if your render distance
I can literally
high.
see it. I can see it just on the edge of my render distance.
Is that Throwlash's? Is it? I thought it might have been Chosen's, but yeah, there's one there.
Yeah, that's Throwlash's base. That is.
Oh, is it? Right. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. That's where he's basing. So I'm assuming that's his tree farm.
Right. Yeah. So 2 tree farms. Well, I just thought it makes sense. Seems like I'm going to be AFK here anyway. You know.
Oh no, I think it makes perfect sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm going to need a lot of wood. So Why not?
I like it.
So slowly but surely, I've been making my way around this huge disc, adding in all of these crazy circles made of sea lanterns, dark prismarine, and industrial iron. And I've just got to the last 2 rings, and I'm almost out of sea lanterns, but my process is relatively simple. In order to save my pickaxe's durability, I've been using my shovel and my axe because they both got silk touch on, and glass and sea lanterns can be smashed with any tool. And I basically just follow this line of dirt like this, smash the glass below it so that I know where my circle's gonna be, smash into the sea lanterns either side of that dirt, and continue this until the symmetry one starts smashing things the other side and I meet up with the gap that it's left. Once I've got this middle gap, I then place in the industrial iron along that line that I've just created, and then I use my axe to do the sides of that where the dark prismarine's going to be, either side of the industrial iron, and then I throw in the dark prismarine, and then eventually I get round to using my pickaxe on the sides where I can start throwing in the sea lanterns. And it's taking forever, but I'm nearly there. I'm just hoping I don't run out of sea lanterns before I get to the end, but fingers crossed everything will go well and this will be finished before I know it. And there we go. I believe all of my rings are now in. There's probably a couple of mistakes here and there. Yep, I can see one just there. But all in all, I think I've got everything. There are some strange shapes going on with some of these circles, but I really don't mind that. And I had to raid my Guardian farm for every last sea lantern. This is literally all I've got left. So I'm going to have to do a whole bunch more AFK here if I want to do anything else with sea lanterns. But yeah, very happy with how that's all turned out. Now I just got to build a tree farm in it. And poof, just like that, it's the next day. And I've spent a few hours here at the Guardian Farm AFK. As a result, we've got a whole bunch of sea lanterns and dark prismarine now, and even a few bone blocks. But before I get on to making this tree farm, there's just one part of this circle I'm not overly happy with, and that's that weird flat line there. So I'm just going to attempt to make that a little bit more curvy, and then I'll make a tree farm. How does that line look? That looks more curved to me. So if I follow that line with the blocks, and then I just need to do the underside of it as well. Now let's place in the sea lanterns. Then I need to get the dark prismarine on the inside of those, which will go something a little bit like this. Then we need to make the industrial iron follow that line that I've made. Figure out where our dirt's going to live now, and I guess it's going to be there. And then we can do the dark prismarine back on the other side of that. Get rid of this industrial iron. Now I can put my sea lanterns back in, and just like that. And now before I put the glass in, let's just check. That looks weird, but more curved than it did. But regardless, that'll do. Let's get the glass in. Job's a good one, kind of, because now that line looks weirdly not round. So I'll do that one next. And there we go. That one looks more round too. So overall, I think that looks fine. It's not perfect, but it will do. So tree farm then. I've been having some thoughts while I've been building this, and as I said from the beginning of the video, the idea is to use the schematic and a whole bunch of deployers to make each one of these different segments, a different type of tree. But what also could make sense would be to not use any schematics and just have deployers set up that go round these circles and make each one of the circles a different type of tree. That would make the farm significantly simpler, significantly easier to build, and probably significantly nicer to look at, because we'd have circles of different types of trees. The problem with coming up with this idea at this stage, though, is that I've only got 9 circles, and if we remember from the beginning of the video, there are 11 things I want to grow, I think. We've got the 9 normal woods, but we don't want oak, so that's 8. Plus bamboo, plus that. So that's 10. There's 10 things, and I got 9 circles. Well, that's annoying. Suppose we could bring another line over to this bit and have our bamboo maybe running around this point here, just next to that. That could work. And that might also make it look like, once the bamboo has grown, a nice little sort of cage thing surrounding this guardian bit. That could work. So let me just try and plan this out, and we'll see how we get on. So the way I'm thinking of doing this is to have our azalea trees there, then maybe birch there, because that's a single wide tree, then maybe acacia, because that's a single wide tree. Then we'll do single wide jungle and single wide spruce, because we don't need the giant trees. Then we'd go cherry, because they're single wide. Then we'd have to do the double wide woods, which would be dark oak and pale oak, which would then take us to this very edge where we've got a bit more space for wild roots for mangrove. So that would give us all of the different wood types on all of the different rings. And then we just need to do something at the beginning here for the bamboo. Now, another problem that's cropped up with this circular idea is the fact that I'm going to need to bone meal the azalea saplings in order to get those to grow, to get the oak logs and the azalea leaves. And in order to do that, that means I'm then going to have a system that can bone meal all the way around the circle. That could be tricky, imagining that I was going to put dispensers or something on each one of these. But actually, all I need to do is have a few more deployers just behind the sapling as it's getting placed to place bone meal on that. So that actually shouldn't be too much of an issue either. First things first, then, I need to actually build the mechanism that's going to be planting the saplings, harvesting the wood, and then doing the bone meal for the azaleas. Oh no, not first things first. First things first, I need to put a ring in for these things so that we can actually grow bamboo. I'll do that first. Well, that didn't take long. I basically added a bunch more dirt for the bamboo ring because we need a lot more bamboo than we do normal logs in order to make the bamboo logs and planks and things. Because in order to make a block of bamboo, we need 9 pieces of bamboo, and then we can cut that thing down into planks and whatnot. So it's overall more expensive per sapling. But yeah, that's going to give us a good amount of bamboo, and that means everything is ready for me to start building the actual tree farm. Yay, finally! So just like the Guardian farm, we're going to be starting with a windmill bearing, and I could attach it to this one and have our tree farm going around with this, but the problem then would be every time our tree farm came across a tree, it would slow down in order to chop down that tree, which would dramatically reduce the rates of our Guardian farm. So we're going to have a new windmill, and we're going to pop that right up at the top of here, just like that. And then we're going to bring a line of blocks all the way across the platform from this point here. And I want this touching the top of our sort of upper disc, just so that we've got room underneath it. And also because I've got an idea for how I'm going to decorate this sort of tree farm spinning arm deployery saw thing later on. I don't know how that's going to come out, but I've got an idea. Probably won't come out very well at all, but I've got an idea. And once we've got our big old line of blocks in going all the way across, you can see I've added these little bits down at the bottom here where we're going to be fixing the deployers to it. We need that for the bamboo as well. We're going to be putting our deployers on this side, 3 across like this, because I don't know if one is going to keep up with our circle because they're not perfect circles. And then at the front, what we actually need to do is add on our saws. And now we could stick them out a block like that and then have the deployers right back like that. Or what we could do to keep things nice and tidy is have those there instead, and then we've got the deployers straight behind them to plant the saplings as soon as the tree has been chopped down. But when we get to the section for our 2 wide logs, I'm actually going to have 5 deployers for each one because the dirt's going to have to be 2 by 2, and I'm not convinced that 3 of them are going to cover it. Then yes, that does mean I've got to change all of the dirt patches for this ring and this ring to 2 by 2 ones. And then as we get back to this point, this is where we're going to be having our azalea that needs bone mealing, and in order to do that, we're going to just have a couple more rows of deployers behind this thing. So we'll have a row for bone meal there, and then we'll have another row for bone meal there. And there's no guarantee that those 2 rows of bone mealers will actually make the saplings grow on their first attempt, but after the whole thing's gone round a couple of times, we should have no shortage of azalea trees. So that's the chopping down, the saplings, and the bone meal sorted out for this system. But what about the leaves? Well, for the leaves, what we're going to be doing is adding on harvesters. We're going to have a line of harvesters at the average leaf height for each of the different types of trees, but I can't remember what that is off the top of my head. So we're going to add these on afterwards, once we've got the system actually working just for planting the saplings and chopping the trees down. So now it's time to glue everything together. I think that's everything now glued. And we need to glue this bit over to our windmill bearing, and then we actually need some wool on this to actually power it so that it actually works as a windmill. And we're just going to use 8 pieces for now because that's the minimum you can have to make the windmills work. Next, I need to set the filters for these deployers. So these ones are going to be for bamboo. These ones here are actually going to be using a filter to allow either type of azalea sapling to be planted. So we'll throw those onto... Oh, it's a... What? You keep the filter? Oh, jeez. It's unusual for a deployer. You normally let me have the item back. Well, it's a good job I got more filters. Okay, so you guys get a filter. You all want bone meal. You guys want birch. Do acacia, then spruce, then jungle, then cherry, then dark oak, then pale oak, and then finally mangrove. Right, that's all of the filters in. Next, what I really need to do is sort out the dirt patches for the 2 by 2 trees, specifically the dark oak and the pale oak saplings, because they need to be planted 2 by 2 and not singularly, which is going to make a mess of my circles, but it's fine. Wand of symmetry, go. So this is going to be as simple as just just making these 2 by 2. I'm not going to worry about adjusting the circle to make it fit. I think we're just going to do it like that. I think this is absolutely fine. And there we go. That's all of the 2 by 2s in. And that's basically it for now. And before I start putting storage and things on there, I actually want to test that this thing is going to go round and it's going to go at a decent speed. So let's just activate this, assuming this is going to go the wrong way. It is. So let's spin that round and then activate this and realize I haven't glued half of it together. See, this is why we test things, peeps, rather than just going for it. Let's have another go. See if it all goes round together. It does. It's going round. The deployers are going crazy and the saws are doing sawing. Invisibly. No, they are there. So yes, the windmill works. And they do look to me like they are following our circles just about. That one looked like it was about to miss. But on the majority, we do appear to be following our dirt lines with this. So there might be a little bit of tweaking adjustment to do once we actually get this thing up and running. But at a quick glance, everything seems to be okay. Good. Oh, I better move out of the way before I get squished and sawed to death. I should probably also turn this thing off. Boom. So now that we know this works, the next thing to do is add some storage to it, so it's got somewhere to keep the saplings as well as all of the things it's chopped down, and then we need some way of getting all of the items off this thing so that then we can process them. A little bit like what we've done with the Guardian Farm, where we've got this big old processing thing under here. I want to have a very similar system for the tree farm that's going to produce all of the things I want to produce. That means I'm going to need another big area like this underneath the Guardian Farm that's not this bit, and it also means I'm going to need it somewhere where I can get the items onto this belt and over to our post box so that the ship can pick it up and actually deliver it to my base. So I've got a lot of work to do underground in order to progress with the stuff above ground. But before I do any of that though, why don't we just throw a few barrels onto this thing? I mean, quite a lot of barrels onto this thing, really. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm thinking a lot of barrels onto this thing. Like loads of barrels. That should be enough barrels. Then we can fill it all up with all of the saplings we've already got, throw a few stacks of bone meal in there, and then actually just get it going and seeing how it gets on, with the hopes that it won't have completely filled all of these barrels by the time I've finished digging out the underground area to do all the processing and offloading the items. There's only one way to find out. Let's get it started and, well, first of all, I guess, see if it actually plants the saplings where they're supposed to go. Max, get set, go. Quick watch. Oh, yes. Oh, they grew the azaleas very quickly. Okay, so that bone meal system works. We're missing mangrove. Oh, we only got like 2 propagules. Okay, fair enough. Everything else seems to be getting planted okay, though. This is good. We've run out of dark oak saplings already. That's fine. Well, yeah, there we go. Look, we're getting loads of azalea trees growing already. Oh, good. Oh, and it's already growing and it's already chopping things down. We're going to have so much wood, peeps. This is unbelievable. So I suppose I'd better get on with our collection system underground to get this all sorted out. And because we've got our Guardian Farm one there pointing out that way, it makes sense to have the Wood Farm one where it parks over here and have it down there. Well, at least that makes sense to me, but I probably don't want the hole here because that's exactly where the saws are coming in. So, yeah, I guess we'll go here. Oh, gravel. So much gravel. Just over 1 hour later, we've got a big old space to work with down here, and I believe if we check our tree farm, it is just about full. Yep, we're full. We're now dropping items on the floor. Well, that was good timing. So I guess I better stop the machine, just like that. And one thing I was concerned about while that was running was how many saplings we were getting, particularly those of mangrove, because mangrove are known for not dropping ever so many saplings, as are dark oak and I believe pale oak as well. So I just want to have a quick fly around to make sure all of the spots that we've got actually have all of the items in that they need. It's going to be much easier to do that in free cam. We've dropped a lot of stuff on the floor, but it looks like at a quick glance everything that needs a sapling has a sapling on it. There were a couple of patches earlier as I had a quick fly round where the 4x4s only had 3 saplings on, but they all look okay now. So yeah, I think we're doing well on all of the saplings. All right, I'm gonna go pick up all of these blocks that it's dropped on the floor, which wasn't too many to be fair. Unfortunately though, that's all I've got time for in today's video, but in the next one we'll be adding harvesters to our tree farm, setting up an underground processing system, and even playing a little bit of golf with MrBeardstone. Right, okay, ready, go.
Yeah, go.
Whoa!
Oh,
I
it was dead.
overshot.